Last session, I introduced my reading of excerpts from the book of Genesis by reading a Robert Frost poem, The Road Not Taken. I did that to impart the concept of situational relevance, something I think needs to be part of everything we read. What are we to make of this story of the beginning as Christians or as atheists? That is the question I want to get into with you, and I think situational relevance is important. Here's my quick summary of the story. I am certain all of us have at least a basic or rudimentary understanding, particularly if you have spent any time as a child in Sunday school. God creates people and puts them in a garden that will sustain them. Their job is to take care of the garden. God tells them they are free to eat all that the garden provides, except for the fruit of one tree that is described as being able to give them the ability to know good from evil. The man is told that eating that fruit will certainly cause them to die. A tempter, crafty and wily, convinces the woman and then the man that eating the fruit of that tree will give them wisdom and will not kill them. They eat the fruit and recognize their nakedness as evil. They cover themselves. Now, we know from subsequent verses that they are cast out of the garden because of their actions. And we know that there are other repercussions. While fundamentalists see these verses as both true and accurate, that these actions and reactions and interactions really happened, I personally see it as a metaphor, a truthful metaphor. Science tells me it is unlikely that humanity started from a single pair of people who miraculously were placed in a singularly verdant garden. Science tells me that people evolved, perhaps starting in one area first, or perhaps in multiple areas, contemporaneously. I know from science that people emerged through evolution, lived in families and villages, and migrated. They migrated over time by foot across the face of the earth. This metaphor, this story of two people created in a perfect garden, situationally fits the understanding of the people first listening to the story. And as a metaphor, with this understanding, it remains truthful for them and for me. Even though I see the world through lenses that know science, and the story was written by people whose lenses were not informed by science, the revelation of this metaphor remains powerful. So here are the powerful truths I see in this story that should be remembered and passed down. 1. Humanity has the ability to discern good from evil. We have the ability to know right from wrong. And our ability to know right from wrong is something that developed over time. Humans have free will. They have the ability to choose the path they will take, right or wrong. And this is done individually. One person may influence, but cannot decide for another person. We can understand from this story that our knowledge of good and evil is connected to our self-interest. Here, self-interest is described as having the nature of being pleasing to look at, having good flavor, and providing nourishment. Now, this is pretty important. The tempter in this story, who Christians recognize as Satan, knows which buttons to push. 4. Humanity resides in a temporally time-bound universe. There are past and present. There's where we have been and where we are now. Our knowledge of where we have been is recollections of previous present moments. Our actions in each of those past moments are set in stone. The past is unalterable and shapes the present inexorably. The future is unknown and unknowable by anyone. We may have education and training and experience to help us predict possible future outcomes of current actions and current decisions taken now, but they are imperfect. What is not known clearly from this story is what is good and what is evil, what is right and what is wrong. What we understand is good or evil is situationally informed. Even now we understand that nakedness, especially if accompanied by uncontrolled self-interest, can be a precipitant of evil. Later books of the Old Testament lay out a further understanding of what is right and wrong in the Ten Commandments. Educated people, philosophers, and ethicists, and Christian apologists see similarities between these laws and the understandings of good and evil in different social and cultural contexts. From them, these philosophers and ethicists and apologists, we know that our understanding of right and wrong is culturally influenced, perhaps more a factor of nurture than nature. As this story alludes, across cultures, that humans understand good from evil is well established. I will finish up this discussion in my next video. God is good. Aloha.